Hey, thanks very much for clicking on the Idle Chat link for the American Bar Association Section 4 Dispute Resolution. Today, I get to talk to a colleague in Canada. Everybody, this is Helen. Helen, this is everybody.
Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. I hope you're well.
Helen, are you ready for an Idle Chat with me?
I am 100% ready for an idle chat. Absolutely.
Excellent. Up for the challenge. Helen, first question. What is the best spectator sport?
So I think this is going to be really bad, but other people. So looking, sometimes I'm on the, public transportation and you're looking at people, you're eavesdropping in on their conversations. Sometimes I want to jump in and say, mediation can help you. so so I do really enjoy watching other people and listening to them. You see my face is going red.
That is that is not what I ever expected you to give as an answer for a spectator sport, but people watching should definitely be listed as a spectator sport.
Definitely. And of course you see some very bad things, you see some very amusing things. Um, can I share one example of something I heard?
Yeah.
And I wasn't intentionally observing, but I was in a hotel room and the window was open. And I heard somebody say, this young woman walk by underneath my window and say, "Do you think it's crazy to spend $2,000 on a plane ticket to go see a guy?" And I wanted to shout out. She was young enough to say, "Do it. Go have fun and enjoy yourself." But I couldn't.
Miss Helen,
Yes.
what is the best part uh, of of where you live? What's the top draw for you?
Oh, well, I don't have a huge garden, but I have a garden. So there's no back garden, there's no backyard here. There's the front of my house and the side. So I have all of a sudden become a gardener. My roses are blooming as of yesterday. We had a really tough winter in Toronto and area, and it really delayed and impacted our garden. So everything's a few weeks behind. I've got the side of my house covered with roses, and in a few weeks, Rose of Sharon, dinner plate hibiscus, pansies, all sorts of stuff. So it's really lovely. And then definitely there's a plant at the front of my house called Snow in Summer. So it's a ground cover plant. It spreads, it blooms about 8 inches off the ground, little tiny white flowers, and it's just spectacular. It's beautiful. So
Oh,
that is the best part of where I am.
very
Definitely.
nice. Well,
Yeah,
that gives me a good reason to come to Whitby in the summertime.
absolutely. Now you've got a 3 week window for the snow in summer. So there you go.
Call ahead and make a reservation with Miss Helen.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh. Helen,
Yes.
stairs or elevator?
Elevator.
Both directions, up and down?
100%. So yeah, stairs or elevator, definitely at least going up with the elevator, stairs coming down. If they're the type of stairs that have no kick plate and you can see right through, I'm not going anywhere near those stairs at all.
Miss Helen,
Yes.
you don't have to tell the truth if you don't want to. It's an idle chat. Nobody's going to call you
Yeah.
out on it. In your estimation, what is the most underrated food?
Personally, underrated. I love Indian food. So, but it is very popular. It needs to be more popular. It needs to be more popular. So I just found out that my local Indian street food restaurant up the road from me has shut down due to water issues. Now, that could also be code for they've just shut down, but I'll have to go back and check. So I think it has to be Indian food. It's my favorite. So, yeah.
I would stand in line right behind you all day, every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
Miss Helen,
Okay. Yeah.
if your life had a theme song, had background music,
Yeah.
what are we listening to?
Okay. It is that song from Wicked, and it completely escapes me. And it is, flying high, unbeatable, optimistic. It's that song. And I know it. So I was a couple of years ago, I was up for an award for most influential woman. Yeah, it was several years ago. And they wanted us to suggest to offer to them, should we have won an award, our theme song. And that was it from Wicked. So but I didn't win. But that's okay. I was nominated. So
That means you're highly thought of and respected, and that really does count. But wouldn't it be lovely if every time you entered the room, like an American baseball player, you had your intro music
yeah,
and so you could enter the room and get your vibe
yeah,
on?
that would be great. That would be great.
Miss Helen,
Yes.
if such a thing exists, what's the best airport?
Oh, I can tell you which isn't the best airport. Let's go there first.
Sounds
I
like a better
think,
story.
oh yeah, it was a lot of fun. Is it Dulles in Texas that that's I'll put it to you this way, it was the most challenging. So I think there's 6 terminals with a monorail to take you from terminal to terminal. So I was going on to the capital of California, which is just
Sacramento.
Sacramento. And it was, we were delayed sitting on the tarmac once we landed. I had like 35 minutes to get to my next flight. And there's this poor man at the back of the plane going, I have to get out. I have to get out. We've got a plane to catch. And people just turned around and said, we've all got planes to catch. And there was a young man sitting beside me who was on his way to South America. The next flight was 24 hours later. He completely missed his flight. And and it was mayhem once they let us off the flight. Everybody took off. People were missing their flights. There was 2 women that were going to Italy. They missed their flights. This guy beside me missed Colombia to the down to South America. I I was that image of the crazy woman running to the gate with my bags. Hold the plane, hold the plane. I was the last person to get on. I made it. So that was very challenging, but it is what it is. If you're late, you're late. If you miss it, you miss it. But there is a lovely airport. If anybody has ever gone to Victoria, British Columbia, and it's beautiful. Have you been? Yeah, it's a tiny little airport. It's not complicated. There's not a lot of flights there. It's beautiful as soon as you get off the flight. It's beautiful while you're waiting for your luggage. I think there's only 3 luggage carousels. So it's not a huge place. And I would have to say, and then of course there's all the Canadiana, the Indigenous artwork to sort of welcome you to Western Canada. It's very, very beautiful. So yeah, I'd say the Victoria, number one. Oh, and there's one more. I was in London, England, a couple of years ago, and I was on a moving sidewalk to get me to the underground. And so this was a sign that sort of was projected on the wall beside this moving sidewalk. And it said something like, if you walk to Piccadilly Circus, it's only going to take you 17 hours or something like this. It was very funny. Promoting, of course, the underground. So that was very fun. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the Brits are excellent at making fun of themselves.
They have a good sense of humor. Indeed. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they
good
do.
questions. Yeah. Oh, and also, sorry, I'm just going to add one more thing. The Sacramento airport was really interesting too, because as an art piece, they had created this very, very tall structure that was like suitcase stacked upon suitcases at the luggage carousel, which I thought was really fun too. That was very cute.
I guess you got to do something with all that lost luggage.
I think so.
Art installation.
It was an art installation. It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Uh, Miss Helen, is there a movie that you can pull quotes from and make them applicable to your daily life or your work life?
absolutely. So,
What?
so I um there's two films that come to mind. There's Moonstruck with Cher and Nicolas Cage. He confesses he's in love with her. She slaps him across the face and says, in a great snap out of it. Well, snap out of it. And then there's my favorite film, 12 Angry Men, with Henry Fonda and a whole bunch of A-list actors. And he has this great line that says, because do you know the premise of 12 Angry Men?
I do.
You do. Okay. So actually, I'm not even too sure it's Henry Fonda that says this. But
Yes,
the line is something like, I think if you're going to send a young man off to die, we better talk about it first.
that's
So,
very
not that I'm looking at death sentences everywhere, but it just gives you the idea that, if there's an issue here on the table, let's talk about it first before something is handed out. So the other thing about 12 Angry Men is I teach a lot of conflict resolution, and I show it in the Lightstone Academy courses, and it's used to, first of all, address would Henry Fonda's character make a good mediator. And we talk about positions and interests of basically everybody in the film, all the jurors, the accused, the judge, everybody. But I think that's a very, very telling line. And of course, the other one that comes up is juror 10, who is, I basically nicknamed the bigot. And he says, don't you know about these people or those people, right? Because yeah, he's definitely referring to a group of people. And, there's not a good one among them. And, it's just sort of so relevant today with stuff. So, yeah,
yeah, it is.
yeah.
Well,
And the conflict,
yeah, well, that's a good movie. That's a classic movie.
it is a classic. Yeah.
Miss Helen, are you a fan of the board games?
Only one, because I'm very bad at them. Scrabble.
Love a Scrabble player. Way to go, word
Yes.
nerd.
Yes. Love it. But other than that, I'm not very good at them. And I tend to giggle because I don't really know what's going. So it's not a skill set that I have.
You don't have to have all the skills,
Oh, I have none of the skills. None. I don't have any.
but Scrabble, as a fellow Scrabbler, I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Uh, Miss Helen, at work, in your email inbox, are you a zero emails in the inbox before you can go home or shut it down? Or is your inbox just sort of always living in this infinite state of rotation?
Oh, I'm just going to look at my cell phone. Let me tell you how many are in my inbox right now. I will just say I have 756 emails. Now, they're all, you know, they're I they're all important. And I always, when if if there's a student issue, of course, they get a little red flag beside them saying, must address this, bills, invoices. But I do have 756 emails that are still there. Um, yes. But, I'm very aware to a point of those things that are urgent. I have to, but Still, there's 756 emails sitting in my inbox.
That's reasonable. I have 180 something, and
Yeah.
so I think you win.
Okay. It's bad, or is it a loss? Because it could very well be a loss.
We're gonna say that you're winning.
Okay, let's say that I'm winning. I mean, I'm looking at some here, and there's some that I've read, I've opened. I just haven't put them in their appropriate mailbox because I keep everything. So I'm gonna say a good chunk of those just need to be relocated. It's a
Okay,
win.
you're the winner. You definitely are
Thank
the
you.
winner. When you were a kid, Miss Helen, what was your least favorite subject?
Oh, definitely math. Definitely math. I have I yeah, it's math. Um, I remember in high school not showing up to a final exam for math because I needed to get 95% to pass the year. That's how bad I was. And I didn't go because there was no way I was going to get 95% on a final exam. And of course, when I got home, my mother said, "Oh, because I went to the school as if I was going to write it. I just never went in." And of course, by the time I got home, the school had already called my mother to say Helen didn't show up to the math test, and that's where my math career ended. But ironically, I have a family full of mathematicians.
All right, Miss Helen, I
Yes.
will ask you the same question that I ask all my Idle Chat guests as the last question. And that is, tell me something that you love most about the work we do, or maybe you find it inspirational or motivational, or in some way moves you or makes you proud of the work that we
Yeah.
do.
So I do a lot of teaching. So I do a lot of ADR teaching in community colleges in Toronto. Um, and just a little background there, our paralegals in Ontario are licensed. So they have to write a test with the same regulating body that addresses our lawyers. So the Law Society of Ontario. And so ADR is a mandatory part of paralegal curriculum across Ontario. So I like to tell my students this is the only interest-based course you're going to take in a rights-based program. It's very different. So one of the interesting things is to see the developing skill sets of the students at the college level. You know, how collaborative people have become over the years because we're teaching interest-based. Let's talk about it. What are your positions? What are the interests? Let's follow Roger Fisher's Getting to Yes textbook and see if we can resolve conflict that way. So, so I'm always surprised how increasingly collaborative paralegal students have become. So that's really interesting. I love seeing students. So again, in the college system, when they have to do a lot of reflection journals in my classes, they will say something like, you know, I've been doing this all my life. I just never knew it was a thing, or I never knew that piece of conflict theory had a name to it. Moore's sphere of conflict, or Thomas Kilmann's approaches to conflict, or anything like that. So, and I've been doing it, and I used this skill set with my partner yesterday, and it worked. You know, so I love seeing the connections that people are making. So that's pretty cool. Also, to be honest, I get a number of students that will say to me, because our paralegal programs are either 2 years or they're a condensed year and a half. And they might say to me, uh, thank you for your course because I learned fairly early on I was not meant to be a paralegal. But now I see there's an alternative, right? There's another option on the table. As an FYI, all mediation courses are offered last semester. So they've gone through several semesters before they got to what they really liked, which is conflict resolution. And with the Lightstone Academy students, these students are taking my courses, so it's separate from the college system. This is my own business. And so these people want to become conflict resolution practitioners. They want to be mediators. So there's a motivation, there's a drive, they get designations, and we keep in touch. And the really interesting thing is to see where people end up. That's pretty cool.
That is, no, that's very cool.
It is.
Uh,
It's very cool.
Miss Helen,
Yeah.
if folks want to reach out to you and learn more about the resolution industry or the work you do specifically,
Yeah.
or what's the best way for people to find you?
Well, lightstoneacademy.ca is a for Canada, not California. Lightstoneacademy.ca is a great one. Email me at Helen at lightstoneacademy.ca is also great. Yeah,
Miss Helen, thank you so much for having an idle chat with me. It
it
was an
was great.
absolute blast.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course. What do you got?
Okay. What's your favorite question that you like to ask that surprises you with the answers you hear?
My favorite question is that last question. Every
Okay.
neutral, everybody answers it differently, and they answer with such passion and such love and
Mm,
such a great feeling, and everybody answers it differently.
yeah.
Everybody answers it differently. So hundreds and hundreds of people have answered that question, and they're all different, and
Oh, wow.
they're all meaningful. They are all deeply felt. They are all passionate. And yeah, that's my favorite question.
Beautiful. Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Lovely. Yeah. It's a great thing that you're doing. It's a lot of fun.